Welcome, beautiful souls. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching Glenda's Dragon's Den. And I have a great guest tonight, Sananda Eagle Everest, and she'll tell you all about herself. Plus, you can read more on her website, which is in the description down below. Um, Tonight, she is just gracing us with her appearance here as a guest, and she already has a whole bunch of her team there, raring to go, uh, and they're like, get this going, get this going, get this going. So we just want to get going. Then, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you, Glenda, for having me. I'm going to try not to just go right into the light language because that's what I do. I'm trying to tell the Galactics and the guides that just to give me a moment because they're very excited and eager to be here, to be a part of this. I do want to say to everyone that is listening that there will be a Galactic guide with you during this this interview, this conversation. And also, my words carry a lot of energy, frequency, so there will be some shifting and changing taking place during the conversation. I wouldn't be surprised that if you see my face change or move, I'm shape-shifting. These are aspects of myself coming forward to talk, or some beautiful galactic being coming in or guide that wants something to say. So yes. Beautiful.
Yes, we have a group here.
Yeah, we've got a full house.
Yes. And we welcome them all. So I'm going to start by asking you a question, and then the floor is yours. After that, in yours, I mean in a collective way.
Mhm.
So we have been, talking a lot before this. And I just wanted to know, one of the questions that come to mind is, what if money wasn't something to chase, right? What if it was conscious relationship to cultivate? How does that look? How does that manifest?
And they're saying they'll interpret after the light language because they're wanting you to hear the frequency and receive it in which it is being delivered. They wanted to make it very clear that money is a consciousness, is it a constraint? It is creation that we all have access to, and the empowerment and the abundance is money for each one of us, and it is meant to be cultivated and created into, if you want to call it, stewardship of they're wanting to say it's more than abundance, the stewardship, the authenticity of it in how it is brought together within your field, and then how you put it out within and I'm saying and keeping it in your alignment. Now that's seems like I was a lot of different places, but energetically it made sense to me, and it may make sense to you. Basically, they're wanting me to give the example of what they said to me about over a year ago, sitting on the couch talking. They came in through me and I was channeling them. They said to me, as I had really embarked on cultivating and growing my money and my frequency to hold, was they wanted me to have a really nice home, a high vibrational home in which I can work and live in. That was number one, which is interesting because it's putting yourself first, because usually we do opposite and then Then they said, I will be making lots of money. And with that money, there is that, if you want to say, responsibility of the philanthropy and the stewardship of the money. Because not only will I be, when I receive that money and have my needs met, I am then to turn around and cultivate other, whether it's starseed, way showers, other businesses, in however that looks, and continually multiplying it and moving it forward to work and help the new earth come forward with new products, programs, you name it, devices, whether it's for medical, agriculture, or whatever it is. And it's whatever I want that to be, whatever my dreams or passions that I have for certain things, to put the money into that. And that's actually already starting. And so and I'm already hearing the question, well, I don't have that kind of money. Well, you know what? I don't really have a whole lot of money either. Many of us starseeds, way showers, all of us that have come through, kind of have always had this utopia feeling around money, like money's not needed, it's not necessary in all of this. And I feel abundant, absolutely, because that is a remembrance of once, not once that was, but once that already exists and will continue to exist on other planets. So is going to be existing here. But in the meantime, we do need money to move forward. Now, when I reach in and speak with the frequency of money within me, because it is not outside of yourself. That's the biggest thing. Money is not outside of yourself. It wants to play and have fun. And it sends me a lot of goofy visualizations when I get caught up in old programs or old stories, or talking about like, oh, that's too expensive, or putting things, well, I'm not paying that, and not even realizing that I'm doing it. And I catch myself now very consciously, and I just say, I don't say it's too expensive anymore. I say, well, that's in my expansion. And I just put it back, and it'd be like, it's coming. And I don't negate it. They're making it very clear that this is about stewardship, leadership. And when we talk about the divine feminine, and they also want me to say, we have the divine feminine, we have the divine masculine, and we want the balance of the two, the unitive creator that we are, the two. And they were saying now that to no longer say divine feminine, divine masculine, because we've raised our consciousness enough to know that now that is separation. It's just one. There is no difference between the two. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of the divine feminine, the feminine coming in and taking care of and taking control of their money story, their money history, and what that looks going forward. Because in the future, it's very possible that the feminine force will hold the bulk, the majority of the financial, if you want to call fiat, crypto, whatever it is, any of it and all of it. There's a saying, within 20 years, the balance will be held, that will be held by the female, like it once was. And so it's preparing ourselves to be in that place of no lack, no resistance, and being totally honest with ourselves in our relationship that we have money, and catching ourselves, because I know a lot of people, I meet a lot of star seeds and stuff that are like, oh, I'm in service, I don't need to be paid. And that really, it's not that it breaks my heart, but it is more about worth, self-worth. And you're not in the utopia society right now. You want to live, if you choose, and it comes down to choice. If you choose that you want to live that type of lifestyle, that's fine. There's no judgment. But I also want you to be very clear and very responsible, knowing when there's that statement comes up, if there's any resistance, because it could be a servitude program, which is generally tied to a religious program. And and then we could go into the ancestral programming and the past life programming and the lack programming. I removed lack out of my system about 3 or 4 years ago, and it has changed my. That doesn't mean I still don't have little things that come up. You're like, oh, it's that peeling of the onion.
Right.
But lack is, to me, lack, along with, if you want to call the slavery, I don't even like that word, that where we work for everything that we have, that slave mentality. There we go.
Right.
And those two are the two biggest crutches in our human society that I see it, in the bigger scope of things. And in fact, when I travel, and some of the things, this was 2 years ago, because when I was really moving into a place of, I can't live like this anymore with the way my relationship with money. And it just so happened, of course, a beautiful woman's financial group came into my field, and I was, the hell yes, I'm doing this. And it has changed my life. It's been almost a year now. And it reminded me of when I was 30 something, sitting on a jump seat, because I used to be a flight attendant, reading the Money magazine, back when they had magazines on the airplane, and looking at it and intuitive knowing which stocks would be really good to invest in. I just didn't have the money back then to do it. And coming back many years later into this investment group and realizing that I hadn't lost that intuitive knowingness of what I need to do. And I took back control of my money. I took back control of my 401k. I took back control of my savings account, and in fact, I got rid of my savings accounts because that's a lack mentality for me.
Right.
And the Galactics were very clear to me, which shocked me. They said, spend your 401k because it's slave money. All that money I was setting aside because I was living off of, that's all I have.
Right.
And I need that to last till I'm however year old. And I knowingly it's not going to make it. And because the way this world is, and I just said, you know what, I need to do something about this. And coming back into that intuitive knowing of what it is, what my power is. And that has been one of the greatest blessings, because not only does it go from there, it goes through, because you start feeling in your body, people can feel the resistance and the expansion in their body. Well, money will work with you that way too. If you're supposed to buy something, what's the right numbers, in also your relationship with numbers. I had to heal my relationships with numbers and looking at my bank accounts. But it's like, and this is all the core foundational stuff that is required for us to go and move through, especially as women, because so many times, I grew up in a very small town. It's like, marry a good man who's going to have a good job and make money, and they'll take care of you. That's, it kind of worked out that way, and then I couldn't be in those relationships because it just was for the wrong reasons. And I know so many women are taught that. So many women, if that's their choice, that's okay. It's just not for me. I love the fact that as a divine feminine, a woman can come in and make those decisions. And in fact, my divine partner, he looks to me to make the financial decisions, because I am so much more in tune to it at this moment than he is, but his is coming. So that's kind of it's a lot of little information in a lot of different areas. But if there's anything I can, Glenda, that sticks out for you, or direction?
Well, the whole idea of how perfectly timing the the group of
Yeah.
financial group came into your life when you probably needed direction. You were probably asking it subconsciously, and they're like, ah, here we are, and that's one of the things that I want to point out, that you had to trust that that was the direction to go. That's another
Yeah.
thing. Not too many people, receive those that guidance or those opportunities, and when they do, they're like, this sounds too good to be true, or
Mhm.
am I really trusting myself? So I am glad, that you were able to trust yourself, your divinity, your intuition. um, because like I said, a lot of the times people look at that, and yes, you are right, women have always been taught, you get married, you take care of the house, they take care of the finances. And I am like you, I like to have my own my own say. And it's nothing wrong with whatever it is. I just like to be able to go to the store and say, we need this, just get it. And, not have to call up and say, I need more money in my account
Yeah.
so I can get this. Prices have gone up or anything like that. It's just, I have a good partner. Thank God he caters to me to whatever I want, sometimes more than what I want. Like I sometimes he does things and I'm like, why'd you do that? Because you needed it. No, no, I would have gotten in my way. Yeah, but you kind of want it now. You never look for yourself. You kind of, I saw you looking at it, and I'm like, thank you, but oh,
It's
because I was brought up by my mother, um, who was always saying, my father eventually always said to me, you got to fend for yourself. You got to learn how to do it
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that later on you don't have to worry. And that was the only way I could escape. And I'm going to say that very clearly, escape some relationships that I that were not in alignment anymore. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And my guides are beautiful. They're just saying, they really, for me to just really talk about, this is what women, and there's some, I will include men in this group, but it's not just solely for women. But it's just, it's all about, the receiving. How much can we receive?
right.
I remember when earlier this year I was in Costa Rica, and I was having a spa treatment, and it was beautiful because I did an energy exchange. I did a session for, a session, that I got all these spa services in exchange. And I'm laying on this table. I don't even remember what I was. Oh, I was probably doing some red light therapy, and I was just like, you're totally covered in my one master guide comes in from the side and says, Sananda, he goes, how much money do you want? And I was like, I don't know, 8 million, 9 million, which before would never come out of my mouth, right?
Right. Right.
And I only said 8 million because I had seen a vision where I had that much, a timeline where I had that much money.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay. And he's like, Sananda, how much money do you want? And then I go, I'm like, okay, $150 million. He goes, there you go. I was like, are you kidding me? But it's interesting because when this all started and I couldn't even hold $5,000 frequency in my body, it's like, so I want to make it very clear. There's one thing to hold it, to
Mm-hmm.
receive it, and to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And, because there are a lot of people, they don't have any problem receiving it, but they can't hold it because they spend it right away because their
Right.
body can't acclimate to it.
Right.
And so, and some people aren't making any money, and they're like, it's because they've got the door shut, they can't receive. So
Right.
there's a lot of that. And it's very interesting. Like some people like, oh, I can make, they can handle receiving 100,000, 200,000, but if they can't receive the 5,000, if there's a block around receiving 5,000, they're not going to make it to the 100,000, or they'll get the 100,000 and they'll spend down till they have nothing, because it has a lot to also do with the nervous system, the regulating the nervous system and what you can hold. And so that's where it comes in with numbers. And I remember playing a board game with a deck of cards with friends, and I just didn't like the game. And I realized it because the cards had numbers on them. I mean, of course, but it was like, wow. And I got to the proficiency of, I loved that game, and I would win and I would win and I would, because I learned to love the cards and the numbers. So, I mean, it's as silly as it sounds, it's huge. It's huge. And a lot of people can't even look at their bank accounts or bank statements because of whatever anxiety you go through. So this is like the core wounding. And once you start moving around that, and thank you. And they're also telling me we have forgotten to dream and want and desire. I remember, and they come around to me like every 2 years or something, Sananda, what do you desire? I would give this homework out, and I have given this homework out to other people, for like 7 days to 10 days, every night, write down in your journal 10 things that you desire. Because when I first started doing it the first night, I came up with 3, and I couldn't even get to 10. And I thought, wow. And so I would encourage everybody to do that and then revisit that, because you'll see the things that you desire in a month or two. Some of them actually will start coming. And like, well, that was in my book. That was what I written down. I'm like, but I didn't like that. So you got to go back and tweak it. I didn't really kind of like how that one showed up, but you become the master, like the master of your own, I want to say mind, but it's your own desires in your own field, in your own frequency. And as I'm speaking now, I'm also working on everybody's field. You particularly may feel it in your arms for holding, which is interesting. And there are different ways in which we can hold, how can I say, manifestation. That's such a tired used word, but 2 ways you can really address it. The first one is your sacral chakra. You go in and down behind the sacral chakra. I always see it as a golden egg. And that's one way to work with your desires and your in communicating with yourself. Another one is through the solar plexus. The solar plexus, of course, is an energy center, but it is also a manifestation, because it puts the energy behind what you are desiring that you may have created in the sacral. And then there's the connection up to the heart and the mind, and it all comes together. And then to speak it through the throat chakra, speak it out. So it's all connected. And of course, as we're talking, I'm energetically working, playing with your field for for those who are open to that. And I'm also seeing that the galactic guides are assisting you. There is no quick to give this. It is a process. It doesn't have to be hard. Ease and grace. It can happen quickly. That is totally up to you. It depends on how quick you want the lessons to come through, or where you are at on, if you want to call it, the money scale, and where your comfort is. And everybody has a different comfort level, and mine continually changes as I've healed through the years. I've healed the shame and healed the self-worth, and receiving is huge. And it's interesting because you talk about, the partner, my partner will do the same thing. He'll see me looking at something and it'll be like, oh, well, it's maybe a little more than I really, want to spend, or do I need it? Do I need it really? I love it, but do I really need it? And it's like, well, and I'll set it down and he'll be like, I think you should buy that. And I'll be like, what? He's like, yeah. He goes, you love it. Just buy it. I mean, okay. Because he's right. And it's just like, because he catches me in an old pattern. And it's not like
Hmm.
I need his approval for it,
Right. Right.
but it's like he sees me doing the whole brain thing and,
Hmm.
that we do. And he's just like, just buy it because it'll make you happy. And he's right. It does. It brings absolutely joy, you
Right.
know?
And joy is priceless.
Yeah.
Joy
Yeah.
is priceless.
And,
Yeah.
and they're saying to me that, all of this has relevance because this is the building blocks. Because once you start moving, holding $1 million, holding a $2 million, whatever that field of energy is for you, of
Hmm.
your desires, is not, it's going to be manifested. I'm hearing, well, 100-fold. They showed me 100 times over. And they know because they're going to be working through each one of you, and you'll
Hmm.
probably receive those similar messages that there's certain things or individuals, people, programs, that you're going to be asked to help. And because you have that frequency ability to either manifest the money, manifest the investor, or the people who have the money, because you are connected within that field,
Hmm.
is is going to happen. And they're also having me to say that don't be afraid to collect the wealth codes. Now, wealth codes are everywhere in the world. I've gone to archaeological sites where some of them where I've been told, well, was the vault where they kept the bags of gold and stuff. And as they walk away, I'm like, I just step in and I'm like, download.
Why
you know,
not?
I sit and I've had conversations with, because of my investing, my angel investing, that I've been able to move into angel investing, sitting with the
Hmm.
CEOs and having having these beautiful, spiritual, intuitive conversations with them. And it's very interesting because the ones I have invested in are either the CEOs are spiritually awake or they're in the closet, and they're in the closet. Um, they are on their spiritual awakening journey, and I'm there to wake them up. and I remember showing up in my first, Kurtzu breakout room with all these other male investors that come in that are all heady and asking for numbers, and I'm just sitting there, and they're like, "Sananda, do you have any questions?" No. I said, "The energy's great. It's a yes for me." Because that's all I need. All I need to know is frequency wise
Right.
how this feels in my body. And these are like, and of course, and one of them happens to have the word dragon in it. So that was my first one. It was like,
There
and
you
so
go.
there you go. And I know that, I was with the money, I'm basically taking the money out of my 401k and investing in these investments. And first of all, I'm not a financial investor, but it's all intuitively done. It's
Right.
like my body knows that this is yes. And then I sit with what's the number? And then
Hmm.
sometimes I'll get pushed by the guides. And it was funny because one time I was working with the praying mantis, and I was sitting with a new one, and I was like, you know, going between like $5,000 difference. And I was like, my body was like, oh my God. And they're like, Sananda, do you want to be a millionaire? I said, yes. And then I'm like, well, then this is a no brainer. I took that. It's like, and, but I can sit there and say this now very easily. I could hardly even say the word millionaire. And I could just want to reiterate, I'm making this money to be a philanthropist and to invest in other new companies for our new world. And we've already started working with somebody through our other company. So it's already taking place. It's
Right.
already happening. So it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, it's just very interesting. And so as I'm talking, I'm also asking them if there's any other bases, anything they want to touch on. They're They're pretty quiet right now. I think, oh, they said no, pretty much said it all.
I can just imagine people right now going, millionaire? Wait, hold on. What? Oh, that word doesn't come out of my mouth. And I'm like, it does come out of mine, but it's like, come on.
Well, it's interesting because I also had to get over the shame of talking
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I also started changing the way in who I listen to. And I don't usually listen to a lot of people because I tried to really maintain within my own space and hear
Hmm.
my guides and stuff. But when I do, I'm very clear with somebody who is on the spiritual path, who's
Hmm.
who's in alignment with themselves, and I can tell that they are in alignment on their path and what they are doing to create what they have and
Hmm.
what are they doing. And that has really changed the world for me too. Um, and as much as I love some of the people in my life, I've had to let some of them go because they're still in a very much, um, I'll just say, a lack mentality. And I still
Right.
love them and I have compassion for them because I was right there with them.
Hmm.
But I have to stay very true to myself and to my soul's path and what I'm here to do.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
Yes, and sometimes not their fault or anything like that, but sometimes they bring your frequency down by being in
yeah,
close proximity
yeah,
or keeping in full contact with them. Once in a while, seeing how they are and all that other stuff is
yeah,
different
yeah,
than the regular getting in
right.
touch with. And yeah, definitely there are times, although it's hard sometimes to let go of what has been your support system
Right,
when you were in that space.
right.
And as a human or as a spiritual person going through this human experience, sometimes the humanity comes in and says, oh, but I really enjoyed their company, or I really
Yeah,
love them. And then you have to get that out of your mind. You kind of
yeah,
have to say there's a season, and that was the season.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
So
I still love them, and
mhm.
like I said, more of a limited contact. But it's interesting;
Right.
they're very curious as to what I'm doing and how am I doing and how am I getting there on that financial piece.
Mhm.
And and I'm always open. I will always open and share my journey with that
Mhm.
because I know there's a lot of women, men in my place. And the biggest thing I can say is to honor what your body's telling you.
Mhm.
It's not an outside job; it's an inside job,
Mhm.
and then that carries on to anything and everything you do in your life. Like I get up in the morning and I ask my body, "Do I need any vitamins?"
Mhm.
And then it's either yes or I'll immediately, oh, I need some vitamin C today. Okay.
Right.
And that's just a minute part of it,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
that's really getting to know the body, really getting to know, yeah. So they're showing me, like, take the highest denominational bill you have and
Mhm.
sit with it and see how you feel in your body, restriction or or whatever thoughts come forward, and then
Mhm.
move through those healings, and then add another bill to it, whatever that is, and then keep going and see how the body reacts, and then set
Mhm.
it, and then pretend. They're even saying pretend you've got 10,000, you're holding $10,000 cash. Where in your body are you excited? Let's talk about excitement instead of the restriction, the
Mhm.
excitement, the expansion, because I will also find that there are certain parts of my body that will start, like, just moving, like,
Mhm.
out, to show me that this is where the money, this is a good, this is a good one. And it will change as your frequency changes with the dollar amount, the body will change.
Right.
Because we la mi ne tu buku cha la ni ke tu buku ta la ba kia ta ba la kia ta ka la buku chikini ni mana ko. Ya la ba chu si wala ba chiki si wala la mana mo ku chi wala wa kia ta la mi ki chiki ti la mo ko ya la mi kia. So there's a lot of work going on between the solar plexus and the sacral, and especially right in between or around the navel chakra. Ka wa si biki tu buku la mana mo ku chiki ti bine kia ta la kia. You may have been born into certain circumstances that,
Mm-hmm.
as though it doesn't define you who you are. You do have choices. Kalawakuta subalimini nendo tolo lo maya kotoba sikiti lananya. Ia chikiti minini mania kia takine makua. Alalali ni mani chikita balamakota lami kia tapakua kia. Alalamako chibikia. And they're also showing me, they're wanting me to touch base on when you are working with money to make sure you open yourself up to every currency and free currency out there.
Okay.
Euro, everything, because you do not know where that abundance is coming from. It doesn't always
That,
mean the US dollar. It could be elsewhere.
that's true. That is very true.
To be open to that. I have, as with the codes that I have carried recently, there's some work. This is another one of the things that I'm doing around Greece is because the water's here. We love our
Mm-hmm.
water. Is seeding the water with these certain codes in certain areas as I'm asked to do it. They'll go to Mikia, and I'm just asking if I can I state that lightly? Okay. The fiat line, the money line, paper money line. Let's just say that's been energized also.
Okay.
So, and I also
Good.
want to put out there, and that's also to let the Starseed Way showers out there knowing that help is coming,
Mm-hmm.
because we do live on a world where it is hard to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are those of us, and I'm not solo here, who are doing what we can for our mission to
Mm-hmm.
help those around financial abundance energetically. So it's some stuff being done, not on the slide, but it feels like on the slide sometimes, that we've heard
Right.
you, and the help is coming. The help is on the way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, as you were speaking and you were saying solar plexus and the belly button chakra and all that other stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, I feel it. I'm feeling like fingers going, and I'm like, guys, I've been ready. It's you people who have slowed it down because I always said the more I have, the more I can help. And into
exactly.
my mission, unfortunately, the world requires that currency in order for me to help further my mission. And it's hysterical because now I'm getting all of them over here going like one of these, and I'm like, don't ask me. You guys are the ones that are. I am here going yes, yes, and yes. Okay, come on. But there was a time, I have to admit, a long time where I felt that if I had it, I had to spend it. That was one of the things. And what they were doing was kind of giving me the resources so then I could properly invest it
Yeah.
and properly move forward. And that's okay. I worked through that already.
Yeah.
And, so now I'm like, now they're doing the full abundance in a different way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's like they're working step by step by step. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for the ride anyway. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting because we're moving around a lot here in Greece, different
mhm,
islands, and obviously it's high season, and we're looking at things going. I still, the old fashioned me. I still want a good value for what I'm
right.
exchanging, doing the energy exchange, and it's just it's kind of difficult. But then I catch myself: am I in a restricted state or am I in expansion? And
Mm-hmm.
well, can I spend another $300-400? And yeah, absolutely, to be happy, because
Right.
I'm here working also. And if
Right.
I'm not surrounded by a place that can embrace me, that can hold the frequency, hold our frequency,
Mm-hmm.
um, then it's a no. So
Right.
it's very interesting. And even 2 days ago, it's I'm still on this journey of learning. I was sitting on the couch, and I was doing some of my breath work, and I was connecting, and all of a sudden this thought form came out of nowhere, and it was from my probably my 20s and 30s. It
Mm-hmm.
was a thought form that I used to say was, I was always happier when I was poor. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, and
Mm.
we need to move that one out. And so I let that release that. I healed that and released that. And
Right.
so it is a constant healing.
Mm-hmm.
You're never done. Okay. It's not a one and done thing. I
Right.
want people to be very clear, because, when I was doing in-person sessions, they'll be like, can you just fix me? And I'm like, no,
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 this is
this
all
is, this
layers
is
upon layers.
layers. This is a journey, and there's only so much any healer, there's only so much they can
Yep.
touch or take,
Yep.
um, because we cannot interfere with the journey.
Right.
And it's like, but it's interesting, because I literally have um, money pretty much on my mind, the beauty of money on
Right.
my mind every day. Like, I wake up to, like, ooh, I try to put that positive thought out there of money,
Mm-hmm.
whatever my intention is for today. And that's what I go to bed with. And that's what the Galactics also told me to do. Your first thought in the morning, and then the last thought at night. Whatever that intention is that you are working on. And
Right.
you can change it, but if there's something you really, are motivated about, then that's the one you stick with. And yeah, and it's amazing. So some of you might be feeling it coming up the spine. There's some alignment going on. I see myself, I'm like throwing out a lot of stuff that's not needed anymore. I call it, it's like space junk. You don't need that. Just throw it out of the way. Like clearing the field. Because that was that I was going to do today, bring clarity. So you got to have a clear mind on what
Mm-hmm.
you want to do moving forward, and don't let anybody stop you, because people will try to distract you because they want what your mojo, what you're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
just keep going. You can stop and say hello and say, yes, I love what's happening, and give a brief description and move on back to
Right.
doing. I'm here for a reason. I got a job to do.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And you did not decide to come at this very moment for anybody else, but for your journey and for yourself,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
that was also a big one to learn, is to stay out of everybody's business, leaving Minnesota and leaving that the programming
Mm-hmm.
and thinking I had to be a part of everything. I just let it all go. I see things happening even between friends, girlfriends and stuff, and I'd be like, no, that's theirs. I used to have to put my 2 cents in, and no, it's theirs. I don't need it. So they're wanting me to come through with an activation. Is
Mm-hmm.
definitely right now being started and centered within the navel, around the navel chakra, solar plexus. So what they're showing me is they're literally dropping money down into your field. So let's be open to all the different frequencies, all the different coin shapes, the dollar shapes, paper money. We can include digital money in this too, digital frequency. Let's bring in the gold frequency. Now, this is the actual gold bullion frequency. not the other gold frequency that we sometimes work with. There's a difference. Let's bring in some silver frequency. Let's also bring in some platinum, titanium, those beautiful precious metals that our body also needs and requires. And somebody's requesting diamonds. Okay, let's bring in the diamonds. Go. Just embrace it, receive it. And some of you might receive a dollar figure in your mind. Write that down. Don't put any attachment to it. Okay, now 10 times that. There we go. And so the Galactics are telling me that they're going to be working on your fields for the next 24 hours. As I always say, drink lots of water. You may be tired early. Get your rest if you need it. Your body's going through a big shift. They're saying a major shift. And there's somebody out there who needs some help with a really big block, energetic block. Let me just go in. There we go. And I want to tell that person it was never yours to carry. Okay? It wasn't yours. Okay. So.
That was definitely, can feel that energy.
And they're saying, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Something a lot of us do not do.
And that is of your human counterparts or of the Galactics or your guides. Okay. And now they are leaving. So thank you. I'm thanking my guides and the Galactics for coming. And they said it was their pleasure.
Beautiful, beautiful. That energy was phenomenal. I'm sure everyone feels it. I know I do. And, I know that they took stuff out of me. And I thought I had worked on everything. So there you go.
It's a process.
It's a process. And it's like you said, a lot of my clients come in, they want that pill. They want that pill. And I'm like, no. This is a journey. This is a process. This is, I can't tell you it's going to take 3 sessions. I can't tell you it's going to take 15 sessions. I could tell you it's up to you. If you're willing to really work at it and do the what they say for you to do in between and all, you go faster. It's layer by layer by layer. It's like more intense. The more you want it, the more you get it.
Yeah. When it comes down to when the desire is stronger than the fear is when it happens.
Exactly.
And making those little choice differences by putting yourself first, and that's not being selfish, which is what we've been taught all along. But it's not being selfish.
Right.
And it's actually very healthy boundaries.
Yeah. Yes, and especially women. We have always been taught to take care of everyone else, and in the process, so along the way, we forgot that we have to also include ourselves in that rotation. because if we keep doing things, we're the ones that are going to be in bed, and we won't be able to help those that we want to be, that
Right.
we want to do, so.
Exactly.
Um, so, just for your information, my number ended up being 1 million because
Good.
so
Now 10 times that, right?
I like that. I'm all for it. No problem. Absolutely. It would be very helpful for a lot of people. So,
Oh,
um,
definitely.
yeah. So
Definitely.
I'm all for it.
That's good. My goal, I didn't get a number because I was busy scanning the
Right.
field. So I was like, but I have if you want to call it, I never used to have goals, but because I just didn't believe in them because they never came true. So anyway, I want to I want to make 1 million before the end of the year.
Good.
And
Good.
I want to, I don't know how I'm going to receive it. I don't know how it's coming. I'm doing whatever I'm asked when it shows up.
Mhm.
And because there's still a part of me that I am healing. And I want to put this, out to people that I doubt myself that this is really going to happen. And I have to, I like catch myself and saying,
Mhm.
no, I have total and complete faith, but I have to sit with that. So that's what I'm talking about with people. It's, it's about that intention and having faith.
Mhm.
You are never to know the how. You
Right.
just need to show up and do the work you need to do and believe.
Mhm.
The Palladians would always say to me, believe,
Mhm.
Sananda, just believe. So yeah,
It's
and
beautiful.
and then that way you stay aligned with it. And
Right.
yeah, and you also, if you want to carry it, I know we're running on time here. Bring it into your body, into every cell of your body, and
Mm.
believe, and then back out into your field. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
yeah.
That those are beautiful, beautiful guidance there. That is beautiful. So, like you said, we are coming towards the end of the show. Is there anything else that you want to give the audience that you haven't covered? We covered a lot today.
We covered it was a lot of,
A lot of it.
yeah, and and I'm actually asking the Galactics if there's something that is, and they said no, that I did cover it. I think the biggest part to know that even though I can talk to the Galactics,
Right.
the Drag, whoever, and you may not be at that point, but this is what you need. You need yourself and to
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself. It's all an internal job.
Mm-hmm.
This talking to them is part of my soul's mission. And it's about really trusting yourself and honoring yourself and believing yourself because you are getting the messages, you are getting the words. And if anything else, ask your body if it's a yes or
Mm-hmm.
no. You can rock is forward yes, or you
Yeah.
can do this.
Yes.
When I'm super tired, I'm in the, I'm in the grocery store. It's good for me, and I'm too tired. I'm like, yes, okay, here we go. Just because I'm tired. So, but anyway, but trust the body. The body
Right.
will tell you. They're saying, and
That is for sure.
yeah, yeah, and they just said they're still working with you, all of you. So that's beautiful. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I still feel the tingling all over, so
good,
that's good.
good.
That's great. And I'm sure the audience is also. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
anytime you want to come back, please, you know how to contact me, through your travels.
Through my travels, I know it's been a little while trying to get us together, but it's
Right.
always perfect. But
Perfect.
most definitely, I enjoyed this. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And as always,
Thank you.
I love
Thank you,
you.
Glenn.
And thank you to the audience.
Yes.
If anything resonated today with you, check the websites and also share this because others may benefit from it.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. And as always, see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I love you. Bye. Hold on.